What's up, dudes? It's your buddy, 5 Bar Doom, and I wanted to talk to you today about leagues. So our league just wrapped up in the Metro Detroit area, and overall it was pretty fun. I had a pretty good time in it. I had some highs and lows for sure. But at the end of the, I think it was 14 weeks, which is super long. But at the end of that 14-week period, I'll say it was a pretty fun league. I had a good time. I like the format, and I just want to talk to you guys about it, just so you understand like how leagues work here in the Detroit area. I played leagues before. I played them in Dallas, and they're okay. I had some issues with how they ran in Dallas, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. But the one in Detroit was pretty good. So, right out of the gate, the one thing I will say was that it was, although this kind of turned around to not be that big of a deal, but it was very expensive, I thought. So, entry fee was $100, and I thought that was expensive for a team, but it was $100 a person. So, me and Beth played, and so it's $200 to enter. Seemed pretty expensive, for sure. I was like, oh man, it's a lot of money. So, but whatever. We're going to play League. The League is 14 weeks. And in this, the way they had set up was, I think anybody could enter, but it's handicapped. And they do this weird handicap thing here. They did it like this in Dallas, I think, too, where like they don't do it based on like your ranking. They do it based on kind of like local rankings or whatever. Like they basically assign you a point value from like 1 to 5. Oh, alarm going off. So they assign you a value from 1 to 5, where 5 is the highest ranking player. 1 would be like brand new, and usually everybody falls in between. Most people are like 3, 4, 5. But if you're like really brand new, maybe they'll give you a 2. I don't think there's really anybody they would give a 1 to. But that's sort of how they do it around here. So, me and Beth played. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. Me and Beth played League. I think I was ranked a 5 right out of the gate. Beth was like a 3 probably. And it was pretty interesting. So the way it works is they have this software that Gary Churhart wrote. I can get into that here. So it's a little small, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about at least. So Gary wrote this software where it basically like it has all teams in there and it matches you up. You can pull it up, you can see the schedule, you can see who you're gonna play, and so that was pretty. It was actually really nice software. I thought the software worked really well. It was like this custom software specifically for this league that Gary came up with, and it was pretty neat. There were like 7 different teams in this version of the league. So you have like this view where it's like the current matches. It has like statistics. This is like from the end of the season. Me and Beth came in 4th. But they have this nice statistics view. And, whoops. See, it's like, I think, what was it? Total points. Oh, it's game points is what they... Everything kind of had to do with this game points. The second column there. That's sort of what it was all based on. Then they had, like, individual player standings. You can see like overall I was came in like 3rd place in players, and the overall kind of team standings view. So there's all these different kind of like statistics views, which were kind of cool, and you can see those get updated throughout the year. I know this is really small, but you can also see there's a in this 4th column. I wonder if I can zoom in on this somehow. Yeah, sorry. This is okay, cool. So if you look at the handicaps, I guess the handicaps went up to 7. Anyway, So the third column here, it says beginning handicap. So that's what they assigned this handicap number to you at the start of the season. 7 was the highest that you started out with. So I was a 7. Chris was a 7. See, Bob was a 6. Todd was a 6. So whatever. It's just this arbitrary kind of number. The thing that's interesting about the league software is, I don't know exactly how it worked. I think basically like if you win, it would bump you up a half a point. But basically you can see like this handicap. Next column over is this handicap adjustment. So what would happen is after you play every week, your handicap could either go up or go down or stay the same depending on how the last week went. So you can see at the end of the season, my handicap was a 9. Looks like Chris had the same situation. My handicap was as high as a 10 at one point. Let me resize this again here. Cool. So yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Like you start out with a handicap, and then it kind of goes up and down throughout the season to try to make it more balanced. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, the one thing I'll say about the handicap is the number of points we had to give up for the handicap was extreme. Like I was always giving up an insane amount of points. But at the same time, you know, at the end of the league, I thought like the results came out pretty balanced. So overall, I don't think it was necessarily bad. There's also like team statistics. Did I already go over this? Maybe. Okay, so let's look at the structure of any given week. Now, I thought this was pretty cool. I do like the way they did this. So on any given week, your team, so this here is me and Beth, are playing another team. This week we're playing Brian and Robin. And basically, you know, before the match starts, you pick who gets to play, who is in the first position and second position, and that kind of determines some stuff throughout the rest of the night that I will explain in a sec here. So like in this one, I'm in the first position here. Brian's in the first position here. And then you play a series of matches. You play them against that same team the whole night, and you can see in this top section, there's this handicap point plus or minus. So me and Beth have like a 0.5 handicap, and they have a negative 0.5 handicap. So overall, you can see, I guess it's hard to see on here, but basically that plays into like the, sorry, can I see this better? Oh, I guess in doubles there was no handicap. Sorry, I'm not going to explain that part very good, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, the first thing you do is you play 2 rounds of doubles, just straight up normal doubles. And you can see what's kind of cool about it, and you can't switch. So in the first match here, you have whoever's in your first position, so it's me. I'm up, I have to play front this whole match. Beth has to play goalie this whole match. And on the right side, you can see Brian has to play forward the whole match. Robin has to play goalie the whole match. Then we play one more round of one more game of doubles. These are all raised to 7 games. So these are all raised 7s. So they play one with, your first player up front. You play another round with the second player up front. And I don't know if I got a screenshot of this or not. Crap, I didn't. But then there's a third game in this round 1 that's Roto. So that's pretty cool. And in the first time you play Roto, you play with your number 1 player up front. So it's basically like this first doubles match where it's me up front, Beth in the back, Brian up front, Robin in the back. But it's Roto. And what that means is when your team scores, you have to switch. And again, you can't use in all these matches, you can't use timeouts and switch. You're stuck in those positions, which I thought was actually really cool because it makes you play both positions, That's really neat. The one thing I will say about this league that I thought was totally awesome is it makes you play front and back. It makes you play all these different games. It was pretty cool. So this first thing you play is 3 matches, doubles with one person up front, doubles with the other person up front, and then roto doubles with that first person up front again. Then you go into a round of singles. And there are 4 people, so you basically each end up playing each other in singles. So I would play Brian, Beth played Robin, I play Robin, Beth plays Brian. So you play all the combinations of everybody in singles. So that's really cool. I like that. And you can see there's like handicaps involved. So like in this one, this is like really early in the season. Brian got like 1 handicap point. Beth got 1.5 against Robin. She got 2 against Brian. It looks like Robin got 1.5 points against me. And you can see there's a column that says game points. So the way the overall points worked is you get a certain number of handicap points. I don't know how it gets calculated. It just sort of does it in the app. You know what I mean? But basically, like, and how it works is, you do a race to 7, so they add up all your points you get in the game. So if we win like 7-6, we would have 7 points, they have 6 points. And then you add the handicap points onto that. And whoever has more points, if there's a team that has more points, they get 2 game points for that game. If you tie, then you each get 1 game point. So if it's like, if we win 7-6, but you got a 1-point handicap, then we would tie. We would each get 1 game point. Or you can see there's even like 1.5 is possible here. And when that happens, sorry, still getting over this cold. When that happens, you could have like 7 to 7.5, and the 7.5 team would get 2 game points. So the handicap was very important. So we have the singles round. Then they do a round of forward shootout and goalie wars. Not everybody plays everybody in these. There's only two matches of each. So as you can see here, the number 1 player from each team plays each other in forward shootout. The number 2 player plays each other in forward shootout. And then we go into goalie wars, where the number 1 player from one side plays the number 2 player from the other side in goalie wars. That's just how it's set up. So you play a little bit less forward shootout and goalie wars, but you do play 1 game of each for each player. So that was pretty fun. I like that. You don't play too much forward shootout and goalie wars in local play. So I thought that was just a really neat way to mix it up. I actually had some fun playing goalie wars. I was doing this bank series and actually was doing really good with it. I won a couple matches basically just straight up doing banks. So that was pretty awesome. Okay, so we play the singles round, play forward shootout goalie war round, and then finally we'll play another shorter round of doubles, where you play another game where it's the number 1 players up front, and then you play another roto, but this roto starts with the number 2 player up front. So same as before, but you only play two games, 1 regular doubles and 1 roto. But this roto, the other person starts up front. So over the course of the night, you play, how many games is this? So there's 1, 2, 3 games there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games total that you end up playing. So I thought that was pretty dope, dude. I mean, here's what's cool about this format is, and here's the other thing that's cool about it. We had 3 tables, okay? So we had 3 tables, and you would, and you basically, you're playing against one team the whole night, And every week, a team would have a bye. That's the way they had, because there are 7 teams. So basically, you get there, and you get a table that's like your table for the night. Oh, another thing that was cool about it is, let me go back a bit here. You can see there's a home team and an away team. And basically, if you're the home team, you get to pick either, I don't know if you get to pick ball or side or if you just get the ball. I think the home team just gets the ball. But basically, like, if you're the home team, you get the drop every single game. You know, you get the ball first every single game. And it's fair because everybody plays each other twice. In one team you're home, one team you're away. So it evens out. You know what I mean? But it's cool because you get there, there's 3 tables. There's going to be 3 sets of teams playing each week. And you basically, you get on your table, you wrap up, you're always on the same side, and you just kind of own that table for the night. And another thing that's nice about that is, since you're playing the same team, once you finish one game, you can just roll into the next game. There's no, like, waiting. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times you play a tournament and you're just sitting around waiting. And we're obviously playing a lot of foosball here. 13 games, that's a decent amount of foosball. But it goes pretty fast because, first of all, the race to 7s. So that's kind of nice. Keeps it short. I don't mind race to 7. It's pretty fun. And and then also, like, you finish the game, you can just start the next game. You're playing against the same people. Like, maybe take a smoke break, maybe get a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever. But you can just roll into the next games. So that keeps it really efficient and keeps it going pretty fast. I mean, a lot of times, we would start these at 7 p.m. A lot of times, it would only take, like, 2 hours. Like, if you started right at 7, you could be done, like, at 9. Which is great. Like, 2 hours, it's beautiful, dude. You get up there, play a couple hours of foos, go home. It's so nice. It's perfect. So I thought that was really cool. So I think that's it about the structure. So let's talk about the payouts. So this is from this pictures. I'll just kind of leave it up. This is a nice picture. Basically, this is their picture from there's like a banquet at the end of the league, which was really nice. So the way this worked was, so like I said, you pay $100 a man, and it's for this 14-week period. Beth and I came in 4th place. So I expected we would get no money back. That would be the logical thing to do. Now, they did the payouts really weird. And it worked out great for me, for sure, but it makes no sense. You know what I mean? So it's okay. So if you think about we each pay $100. We pay $100 a head. That means there's $1,400 paid into this league, right? For 7 teams. It's a lot of money. And obviously they're going to take some cut for fees for running it, right? Like, I don't know what the percentage is. Not a lot of transparency in how it works when you sign up. You just sort of like, it costs $100 a head. Stick them up, give me your money. You know what I mean? So I'm like, here you go. So the way they end up doing it, now, if I was running a league, I guess the way I would do it is whatever the prize pool is going to be, they're not going to pay out the full $1,400. They're going to take some cut. Whatever it's going to be, I'd figure you'd probably pay like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, at the most, that's what I would figure you'd pay out. Where 1st place maybe gets like 60% of the prize pool, 2nd place gets 30%, 3rd place gets 10%. If I was structuring it, that's how I would structure it. You know what I mean? Top heavy. They ended up doing it to where it was based on your game points. So, like, do I have a screenshot of the team standings? I think I do here. Team standings. So, if we zoom in on this a bit. So this is at the end of the season. You can see the second column here is game points. And like I said, the way it worked was you play a race to 7. If you win that race to 7, including the handicap, you get 2 game points. If you tie it, you get 1 game point. So at the end of the season, here was the standings. And overall, they're pretty kind of close together. You know, the lowest team had 145 game points. The highest team had 170 game points. So what they decided to do was basically pay it out based on game points. And I think each game point worked out to like 65 cents or something. I think that's what they said. I didn't do the math, and I don't really care. But that's what they ended up doing. So what that means is the team in like last place ended up getting like $95-ish or $90, somewhere in that range. Beth and I ended up getting like $100. Ship it, you know what I mean? Because here's how much you deserve: 0 for 4th place in league. You deserve $0. So they want to give us $100 back. Ship it. And then Bob and Chris won, and they get like $109. So literally the spread of money between last place and first place was like $15 for the entire team for the entire league. So, I mean, and John was, one of the guys that ran the league, and he was talking about it, and he mentioned that basically, these are my words, not his, but everybody's being a crybaby in some of these previous leagues, whining about not getting paid out or something. I guess I wasn't there. This is the first time I played League in Detroit. But they're all crying about not getting money. So they decided to do it differently this year and just pay out based on game points. Now, like I said, if you're the 5 Bar of Doom in this situation, you get 4th place, you deserve $0. You know what I mean? You could certainly make an argument that you deserve $0 for 3rd place also if there's only 7 teams. Like if they paid out 1st and 2nd only, I think that would be super fair. Pay out 3rd, great. You know what I mean? 4th place, you deserve nothing. I mean, do I even have to say that last place deserves nothing? Come on, man. Last place is getting paid out? I mean, that makes no sense. So basically, they're charging $100 a head. Essentially, like $50 of that goes into the prize pool as far as like cash payouts. I just want to say it's about exactly 50. I haven't done the math or anything, but if each team gets a range between like $95 and $109, and each team paid in $200, then clearly like half of the money is being paid out in cash. So you're essentially just playing for fun. You know what I mean? Like there essentially is no prize. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, yeah. I mean, if it's a $15 swing between last place and first place on the payouts, and and that's for the entire team, $7 a head, max swing between last place and first place, that's essentially 0 payout. You know what I mean? So they could have just as easily charged $50 a head for league, said we're not doing any payouts whatsoever, we're just doing this for funsies. Now, obviously, you can see in this picture their plaques, their little awards that I'm going to go into in a sec here. So they're paying more than, not straight up taking half the money. They're just straight up almost taking half the money. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the payouts were absolutely silly. That's silly. I mean, it would be like you enter Bring Your Partner, you pay $10 to enter, and then like the last place team gets like $9, and the first place team gets $11. Like, well, what are we doing here, guys? It's like when it's like Christmas when like, you don't know what to get like if you're in this situation with like your parents or whoever it might be where like you buy them a $50 Amazon gift card and they buy you like a $50 Home Depot gift card. What are we doing here, guys? How about let's just not exchange gifts? You know what I'm saying? So I'd say the same with League. Like if we're doing the payouts this way, just don't charge as much entry and let's just acknowledge the fact that we're not doing payouts. If I buy you a $50 gift card and you give me a $50 gift card, we're not exchanging gifts. We're doing nothing. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say about the League payouts here. We're not doing anything. But also, like I said, for me personally, this worked out fucking awesome because I got paid out $100 when I deserved literally $0. You cannot make any justification that fourth place in a league of 7 deserves a penny back in payouts. That's ludicrous. So if they want to give me back half my entry fee just for showing up, hey, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm happy I got it back. And I can see how, it takes some of the pain out of losing, And I mean, hey, they are paying you out in the ratio of these game points. Like, if a team had like really slaughtered and gotten like, had just absolutely dominated every week, they would have got paid out more and there would have been a bigger spread. I mean, the one thing I'll say about that though is since the handicap adjusts every week, it does get harder and harder to dominate. Like I'd say like once the season got going, a lot of the singles matches, I had to give up 4 points in a race to 7. So if I won a singles match 7-3, that was a tie. Like we each got 1 game point. I had to win these matches 7-2 to get the 2 game points in a match. Now that's some pressure, buddy. You know what I mean? When the only way you can like legitimately win a match is to win 7-2, that's insane. So I would say like I feel like the handicap was a little extreme in some situations. At the same time, I mean, if you look at the results, everybody kind of wound up pretty clumped together. So maybe the handicap did its job and it was perfectly fine. But, I thought that was kind of tough. Also, like, the other thing with the handicap is it is challenging when you have, like, like me playing forward versus Beth playing forward, and we have, like, the same handicap in doubles. That makes it tough, too. I think, it would be kind of nice if they had a different handicap for different people playing forward. But overall, it was fine. You know what I mean? Overall, I think the handicap was pretty fair. Cool. So that was the payout situation. So at the end of the league, what they did, and you can see us all gathered here together, is they did a nice like night where it was like a banquet where they had some food. I'll get to that in a minute. There's some pictures of everybody kind of chilling out. Actually, I'll just get into that right now. Scoot past these ones real quick. But yeah, everybody's kind of hanging out. They had this like Italian food. So they had rolls, they had salad, they had some kind of like pasta, like masticholi or whatever, baked ziti type of thing with like cheese and meat sauce. It was pretty good. Not bad. So you can see us kind of hanging out. And yeah, it was pretty fun, dude. Like we had a good time. They also did some awards. Oh, I guess the other thing that is pretty sweet about this, so you can see, this is Bob and Chris. Bob and Chris got first place in the league. And what is kind of neat is, so you can see they got nice plaques for the league. That's nice. But the thing that's even cooler than that is, there is another, so they each get a plaque. Then there's another plaque that goes up on the wall in the bar, and it's just always there. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? That's pretty fun. I've seen that before in other games, or whatever, but I haven't seen that with Foosball. where you just kind of permanently have these plaques up. But I do like that. I think it's really neat. So from now on, if you go up there, you'll see Chris and Bob with their league win plaque up on the wall, and it's just there every week. I think that's pretty neat. Then they did some kind of like mock awards sort of thing where there are 4 of them, and basically like they texted us all, and you could like vote on who you thought out of the league should win each award. One was like the player that you couldn't tell if they won or lost a match. You know what I mean? Like afterwards, there was kind of even keel, kind of had a good attitude about it type of thing. That was one award. There was one award for whoever did the most kind of different shots type of thing. There was one for who kind of played the craziest or was the most unpredictable. And there was another one that was like who kind of like complained the most after like, I got slopped out, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Like who was kind of complaining, and like that was another like award. So pretty funny. So everybody voted on these awards. Sorry. So Beth ended up getting the Congeniality Award is what they called it. So that's the award for whoever basically like, after they play a match, you can't really tell if they win or lost. Just kind of had a good attitude. And you can see Cutie Pie Beth there with her nice award. I got the Circus Award, which was supposed to be like for the person that did the most different kinds of shots and stuff. So I'd shoot some aerials, I'd shoot some, dinks, different stuff like that. You have Kurt, who got the, I love the name of this, the Snaggle Award. So we got this dude, Mike, we call him, he's Snag. And Snag is like crazy and does like the most unpredictable dude. So Kurt gets the Snag Award for being an unpredictable, kind of crazy player. I think that's fair. Kurt does this one roller that's like insane where he kind of like he like front pins it and kind of squirts it out and it hits the side guy, and then he comes back and turns it into a pull kick. Anyway, nice job, Kurt. And then next one's hilarious, where Brian got the quote Bitchin' Bob Award for the player that would kind of complain the most, or bitch about like, I got slopped out, or they whatever it might be. That now in Brian's defense, and I will come to Brian's defense here, I will say Brian has had a much, much better at it. First of all, I did not see Brian bitching at all during the leagues. I think I voted for Bob on this one, but to be honest, like I didn't really see anybody really having a bad attitude and complaining about anything like that. I think Brian probably got this just because like as like historical, especially like on Saturday nights, like Brian historically would like melt down sometimes. But like I said, coming to Brian's defense, Brian has had a really good attitude lately, dude. I feel like Brian is kind of turning it around. He's playing good. I feel like I haven't seen Brian melt down in like months. You know what I mean? I feel like he's been playing better. He's been having a better attitude, just mentally on the table, kind of keeping it together, and been playing really good. So I don't really think this award is exactly deserved necessarily, but it is funny. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for League, dude. Overall, it was pretty fun. It was cool. Like it got, it was like every Wednesday night at 7. Got us out of the house to play some foosball. Got to see all our foos buddies up there. And yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I had a good time with it. And overall, no complaints. I thought the software was good. So nice job, Gary. I thought I did a good job on that. I thought it was a unique format. I hadn't seen anybody do a league like that in the past. It was cool doing all the different formats for sure. Roto, that's cool, dude. You never do that. All the singles, goalie wars, forward shootout, and then obviously there's a lot of just doubles. So I thought it was a really cool format. And, at the end of the 14 weeks, I had a good time. I thought it was fun. So thanks, John and Fuad and whoever else is involved there for running it. I thought it was a good time. So that's it. What do you think of the way we do leagues out here in Detroit? Do you like it? If you want to do a league like this, you can probably reach out to Gary and maybe he can, you can get hooked up with his software somehow. You know what I mean? So I don't know if Gary's on Facebook, but if there's anybody that's like, oh man, I want to do a league exactly like this in my city, reach out to me. I can hook you up with Gary's contact info and maybe like pay him a fee or something and he lets you like do your team league in the system or whatever. I don't really know. No idea. I'm just throwing it out there, but it makes logical sense that somebody else might be able to use the software. I thought it worked pretty good and it was it was a good way to run the league. I like the variety. I thought the shifting handicaps was interesting. It was definitely painful when you got on the higher end of the handicap, but it's a handicap. So I mean that's kind of the way it's supposed to work, right? So yeah, that's it for my video on the league. I hope you liked it. This is 5 Bar Doom. I'm out of here. Have a good one, dudes. I'll see you in the next video.